Hollywood, 2024, Laura Garber, Ice Water Chase. Let's go.
What time do you naturally wake up?
What time do I naturally wake up? I think my body always wants to wake me up around like 6:45. Even if my alarm doesn't do it, my body kind of does. And then I'll hit snooze a few times. And I think my body wants to wake up at 6:45 and my mind wants to wake up at 7:30, 8, you know. It really depends. But I've been finding waking up earlier. This gives me more time and space in the morning, you know, to reflect, prepare. It's a big thing I'm on right now. Preparedness, preparation.
When you think of yourself at a young age, what age do you think of?
I think I got a sweet spot for the 10 to 11, like fourth grade, fifth grade era. I just feel like before cell phones, you know, that was a time when we would ride bikes. You'd have to know people's number by the landline number, you know, you had to know it by heart. Yeah, I think probably I think of myself at like 10 years old, 10, 11. Yeah.
What kind of kid were you at 10?
What kind of kid was I? I was a very emotional kid when I was younger, but I always wanted to be cool. I always wanted to be like in the mix. I was a little scaredy cat, I'm not gonna lie. While all my friends were maybe like daredevils, thrill seekers, I was kind of reserved, a little overthinking even at that young age, you know. But yeah, I always wanted to have fun, hang out with the homies. That was kind of the goal at that age.
What neighborhood games did you play?
Oh man. Manhunt. I feel like Manhunt, Capture the Flag. We used to do some big Manhunt games back in the day. We used to get like maybe like 20 kids and we used to like cover like 4 or 6 blocks of the neighborhood. And we used to run through people's yards, hide under people's garages, anything you could think of, like we were out there doing it. But definitely like Capture the Flag, Manhunt, Cops and Robbers. Those were all the games we used to run around and play and get yelled at for.
If you were to assign a book to a class, what book would you assign?
Dang, that's a good question. What book would I assign? I'm trying to think of a book that like really changed my life or something that like, if I were to assign to a class, I'd want it to have good discussion. So maybe like offer perspective. I would like a lot of debate, so I would think maybe like 48 Laws of Power, because I feel like there's a big stigma surrounding about that book, you know, and I think the book relies on perspective, and intention, whether you're going to use that power for good or evil. So I think that'd be a great discussion starter and book to just talk about in a class, you know, get people thinking.
What time period do you think of most often?
90s, late 90s, I feel like. I was probably like 3, 4, 5 years old when that happened, but I just feel like that was like the sweet spot before social media took over. Design was at its peak, I feel like, when it comes to creative arts. People were just trying new things, building new worlds. Wasn't so much of an algorithm controlling the creativity. I feel like at that time it was very driven by just pure originality at that time. Yeah, I think we need to reference the 90s more.
Favorite piece of furniture?
Favorite piece of furniture? I have to say, does it have to be like just in general, like a bed, chair, or what are we saying? What are we thinking?
Wherever you're gonna take it.
Favorite piece of furniture, I think probably like a nice like computer chair. Nice like a nice computer chair. I feel like that's very you can use it for a lot of things. I get a lot of work done in the computer chair. whether it's music, whether it's business, it swivels, it spins, it's comfortable. Yeah, so I have to go with like maybe a nice like desk chair.
Have you had any interesting animal encounters?
Damn, I'm gonna have to think about this one.
Or
No, I got one actually. This is kind of fucked up. I remember we used to go fishing at this lake in central PA called Raystown. And I remember we were fishing and my friend had a bow. He was bow fishing. So it's like a crossbow fishing pole. So you shoot a fucking arrow through a fish and you reel it in. I remember he shot a fish through the head and the fish started swimming away. He reeled it in. And this is like probably one of the most disturbing things I've seen done to an animal in person. But like he reeled the fish in and it was still like alive. So like he threw it on the ground and then punched it in the skull. This might be too crazy for the interview, but he punched it and then it was still alive. It didn't die. And then we literally skinned it alive and we cooked it. Like we cooked it and it like we threw the fish back in the water after we cut its meat off and it swam away on some like zombie shit. Like its brain was still alive and it didn't realize that it was dying. It was actually kind of morbid and crazy, but I think I was like 13 or some shit. That's like what you do when you're a 13-year-old in central Pennsylvania.
all right, veganism.
Veganism. All right. So I've been plant-based for 6.5 years now. I do eat fish when I go out to like nicer restaurants and stuff like that. It kind of, for me, it still digests well. A lot of stuff that I've given up over the years doesn't really work with my gut so much. But veganism in a whole, I think it's a little overrated. I think it's trendy. And I think with the trend, it becomes surface level. And I think it's a great thing. But at the same time, what needs to happen with it, it needs to start with education. People need to understand what they're doing. When people try to go vegan, they're like, oh, I tried being vegan for like a month. It didn't work. A lot of people know what not to eat, but they don't know what to eat to get the nutrients that they are giving up from missing out on meat and dairy and all these other things. So education is key when it comes to veganism.
Last movie you watched?
Last movie I watched. What was the last movie I watched? I tried watching Dune, but Dune's a type of movie you can't have your phone in your hand. You can't be distracted while you're watching it. So I didn't get through it. I'm going to rewatch it again because I need to watch the second one. I heard only good things about it. But my thing is, like, I'm not the biggest sci-fi person. I appreciate it for the visuals, the picture, and the art. But the storylines don't really grab me in. But I really do want to get through Dune and watch that because I think it's the picture is going to be inspiring to me as an artist.
What's funny to you?
What's funny to me? Jokes. Jokes is funny to me in a way that I feel like there's always an underlying joke with everything. That's why I kind of do this whole JokeStar thing, spread the jokes, get people to think about jokes. I think it's a great conversation starter. But in general, what I laugh at, what I find amusing and comical to myself is just what's funny to me. I like when people don't try to be funny and they just capture that moment. Like, those are the best moments, in my opinion, you know, when it's just like, it just happens. It wasn't planned. It's not it just happens and everybody's laughing. You get those real good gut belly laughs. Those are my favorite. So I don't really know. It just depends on the situation. I think anything could be funny, you know, it just has to be in the right context.
What's the best lyric out right now?
Lyric? Oh, man. I feel like the best lyric out right now is it might be Kendrick Lamar. It might be that verse. I don't know if it's a specific lyric. Yeah, I mean, it might be the motherfuck the big three. It's just big me. I think I like music that moves. I like music that has energy to it, and I think that Kendrick is putting energy back into hip hop right now. And I think that lyric right there kind of just set the tone. Either that or just the fact that the album's called "We Don't Trust You." That itself is a lyric, you know. So yeah, I think I'll have to go with that.
What influences your music that isn't music?
Um, I would have to say the world. I'd have to say with the JokeStar stuff, I think it's uncovering how people. I'm really into sociology. Let's kind of like base it there. I'm really interested in how like the world reacts and people react in group settings and society as a whole. So I feel like society as a whole really influences my music and my perspective and where I want to kind of like take my my craft when it comes to music. I kind of want to just when it comes to jokes, like the word jokes has an apostrophe, and the apostrophe is intentional because I believe that basically when I say jokes on us or jokes on the world, it's also jokes perspective. So JokeStar's perspective on the world. And I think my music is a perspective on the world to kind of show people what I feel like society looks through the lens of JokeStar and jokes. So society inspires my music.
What's something surprising that inspires you?
Something that's surprising. I'm inspired by like metal. So like that like heavy metal music, you know what I'm saying? Like that real grunge punk like mosh pit vibe. I got kicked out of a screamo concert when I was like 13 years old for moshing too hard. And yeah, that to me was like I don't know, just the energy in the mosh pit. I was like, this is lit. Like there's something here, you know. And I wasn't even moshing that hard. They were wild, and I think it's just because I was taller at my age. They said I was like throwing punches or some shit, whatever. But yeah, like that whole screamo rock shit, I went through my phase. I feel like we all did when we were in middle school and shit. But like, yeah, that energy kind of like really, you can hear the tones in the music I make of that like rebellious punk sort of vibe. Yeah.
Who's an up and comer that you're excited to watch?
Oh, that's a good one. Honestly, my homies. I feel like the crew, the people I make music with for sure. So shout out Mount Olympus, the guys from New York, Space Bar to God, Shadashron, A1, all those homies. We got a lot on the way, so be on the lookout for that. I'd say my homie Ziggy Zombie. He's one of my favorite artists conceptually, lyrically. I like people who make music that makes you feel and think. And those are a couple of the guys that really do that. As far as the mainstream goes, as far as like what's out there, on the come up, I really look towards up and comers. I like Baby Keem. I feel like Baby Keem has something going for him with the whole Kendrick thing. I feel like his next album is really going to solidify that, whether he's going to take that stride in the right direction or not. But yeah, there's a lot, but I feel like I'm so tapped out of like what's out there right now that I gotta kind of almost tap back in a little bit. You know, I'm very selective. I like a lot of legacy music. I'm excited to see what the older artists are gonna do next. You know, I'm excited to see what Tyler the Creator is gonna do next. For example, Frank Ocean, all the people that inspired me coming up, sorta. So that's really what I'm looking out for, I think.
Name 3 cities you want to make an impact on.
Oh man, definitely Los Angeles, Tokyo. Tokyo's definitely in my 5-year, 10-year plan, and Harrisburg. You know where I'm from. You know I want to give back in whatever capacity I can, artistically. Whether it's maybe like build studios out there, just maybe fund something, art programs, whatever. I feel like there's a lot of cool in Harrisburg. It's very concentrated. It's a small city, but there's a lot of insight there, just being where it is on the map, and what other cities, major cities outside of Harrisburg, influence it. So, yeah, those are the three.
If you were a plant.
If I was a plant, what would I be? That's a good question. I was actually like not thinking about that specific question, but I was like, what's my favorite plant? You know? I like the idea of like a weeping willow. I don't think I've ever seen one in person, but like I do really want to see a weeping willow tree. Just like what it represents, like kind of like the dark nighttime vibe. But also maybe like a cannabis plant, like a weed plant. I feel like the fact that that plant has so much layers to it and complexity to it, and it can affect the human psyche in a way. Yeah, I'd probably say maybe a weed plant. I might be a weed plant.
Last time you asked a girl on a date.
I asked a girl on a date. Next question.
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh. Are we talking about like Greek Play-Doh, or are we talking about like arts and crafts Play-Doh?
Arts and crafts.
Okay. I'm about to flip that. Play-Doh, that's a bar. Play-Doh, Play-Doh. You don't want to Play-Doh. Yeah, I'm gonna flip that. But all right, arts and crafts Play-Doh. It's fun, it's cool. I used to love that shit when I was younger. I feel like my mom would never buy me Play-Doh sets. Maybe it was expensive at that time. We didn't really have it like that, but I always loved Play-Doh. I think it's like a precursor to clay and sculpting as you're a child. So I think it's important to be able to make 3D stuff. I actually have to go buy some clay or Play-Doh, something of that sort, because I want to start 3D modeling the JokeStar and make them like figurine style, you know, toys and all that. So I want to do it and kind of just create like a rough draft of what that would be, like a prototype with like some clay and stuff. Yeah.
What TV show character are you most like?
Ooh, TV show character. Damn. I grew up on like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Maybe Ash Ketchum. Ash. Or like, I feel like with Pokemon, he was just always trying to be the best. You know what I'm saying? And whatever he did. But he was pretty competitive. I'm not that competitive, I feel like. So let me think of something.
Soprano.
Sopranos. At first, when I started watching The Sopranos, I really liked Paulie. Paulie was my guy. I'm on like I have this season finale left, so I'm almost done with it. But I think when it comes to The Sopranos, now it's Sil. I think Sil's the guy. He's like that right hand man. He's I don't know. He's loyal. You know. I can vibe with him. Yeah.
Favorite music video ever, all time.
Favorite music video. Oh man. This brings me back to like my desktop days when I first had like a computer and I was watching Yahoo music videos. I'm trying to think, what's my favorite of all time? One of the most inspiring to me for sure is Kanye West, Good Morning. I really like that idea of animating a music video. I think I'm going to use that for inspiration for the JokeStar for sure. I feel like with music videos, with animation, you can, if you're saying stuff in your music that's outer worldly, that you can't just like record, or you know, it's kind of like fiction, fantasy. Animation is the best way to depict that. But also, I'd probably say one of the best music videos ever is Kanye West, Runaway, the visual album. That in itself, I probably watched that over 50 times, you know. That was like one of the first visual albums that I feel like really impacted the music industry and showed us that like this shit's not just music, it's art, you know. And is storytelling, and I feel like artists are still trying to chase that magic that made. You know, there's been a bunch of visual albums since, and I still think that one holds weight in today's artistic realm.
How do you say goodbye to someone?
Peace. I feel like I greet people with peace and leave with peace. I feel like the intention behind the word peace, you know, is important. Kind of is like leaving with grace, starting with grace. So yeah, peace out. Peace out, y'all. This is JC, JokeStar. Let's get it. Jokes on us, jokes on the world, jokes on Los Angeles, jokes on Hollywood. Thank you.